Now, the issue of one Margaret Nduta MACHARIA is an issue that has been a bone of contention, a subject that is so sensitive once discussed by the people of the Republic of Kenya on social media. The lady was meant to be executed today according to the judgment given by a court in Vietnam on March 7th. Now, Margaret Nduta was supposed to be executed at exactly 8:30 in the morning today. But a lot of Kenyans flocked on social media trying to send a message to one President William Ruto to try and intervene in this matter of Margaret Nduta, who was accused of drug trafficking in Vietnam. And according to the laws and rules of Vietnam, somebody that is arrested with over 600 grams of cocaine or heroin, their sentence is death. Are we together? Now, a lot of Kenyans thought that the president's call to Vietnam would have changed things, would have given Margaret a second chance to life. But who hung to them? It seems that things are not unfolding the way a lot of us thought. A lot of letters have been written. A lot of messages have been sent out to one President William Ruto to intervene in this matter and to make sure that Margaret Nduta is given a second chance and she returns to her family in Kenya. But one thing is the message that has been relayed to the public today by the Member of Parliament of Gatundu North, Honorable Elijah Kororia. Now, the Vietnamese government has issued a firm response following Kenya's request to pardon Margaret Nduta, who is facing execution after being convicted of drug smuggling in Vietnam. In a statement shared by Gatundu North MP Elijah Njoroge Kororia, Vietnamese authorities emphasized that their strict laws on drugs and corruption apply equally to all offenders regardless of nationality. And I quote him: "We understand that you sympathize with your citizen. However, our stance and laws on drugs and corruption are severe. They apply fully to everyone who violates them, including our own Vietnamese citizens. As the leader of Vietnam, I do not interfere when courts sentence even Vietnamese drug dealers. This is not about citizenship. It is about protecting our children from killer substances. But one thing I know about these nonsense and whatever they are saying, Vietnamese is a failed state. Vietnam is a failed state in terms of control of drug substance and abuse. They try to set examples with a few individuals, more so the citizens from different countries, so that they will be viewed as a citizen. I mean, as a republic that is has so steadfast rules of fighting against drugs. Why am I saying this? You don't tell me that in Vietnam, drug dealers are given a death sentence, yet a country that is highly populated with drug-related cases like Mexico, a case of two kilograms of cocaine or heroin only gets them a 7-year sentence in prison. And that is why when people like Akina El Chapo and Pablo Escobar, when they were arrested, I mean, when El Chapo Guzman was arrested in Mexico, he was given a lighter sentence of about, I think, 20 years in prison before he escaped from prison. Now, Mexico is a country that a lot of these drugs are planted there and they are manufactured there, but they don't have the death sentence imposed on drug cartels. Tell me, why should a Kenyan citizen be arrested in Vietnam and they are served with the death sentence? If Vietnam is not just trying to make an example out of Duta and an example that they have failed to make out of their own citizens. Now, the Vietnamese government further questioned Kenya's track record on handling similar cases, stating how many Vietnamese citizens arrested in Kenya have been pardoned. The response comes amid growing calls from Kenyan leaders, including Embakasi East MP Babu Owino, for President William Ruto to intervene and negotiate Duta's release. Amid the alleged response, Kenyans have expressed mixed reaction on how the MP received the information before the government and could speak. Now, apart from these, I will give you an example of a case that I tried. I tried to review some cases that the Vietnamese government has given some death sentence to foreign citizens. During the reign of the former American President Barack Obama, two Americans were arrested in Vietnam for drug smuggling, and they were convicted and given a death sentence. After that sentence was declared, imagine the President of the United States of America, then Barack Obama, tried to negotiate for the release of the American citizens, or to have the American citizens that were prosecuted and that had been found guilty of drug smuggling in Vietnam to be extradited to America so that they could be judged in the American judicial system. But the president of Vietnam and the government of Vietnam refused to negotiate with Barack Obama after he tried for so long. And this led to the said three Americans being executed. They faced the death penalty. They were killed. They were executed. So the question that I am having, and what it's becoming hard for me to believe, is that our President William Ruto, in any way can save Duta from the lethal injection in uh, from the lethal injection that she is supposed to face in Vietnam. Now, we have some reason to believe that uh, our execution was prolonged as of today. It didn't happen in the morning, because I have heard that they were saying that the people, among the names of the people that were supposed to be executed today in Vietnam, our name was missing from the list. So could it be that the cries of the people of the Republic of Kenya have made it to uh, they have made it to the Vietnamese government? Now, apart from that, a message was relayed by one Senator Richard Onyonka, the senator of Kisii, in regards to to the matter of the execution of one Margaret Nduta MACHARIA. And looking at it currently, I want to read what one Richard Onyonka said in regards to the matter of uh, pardoning one Jerry. And Onyonka posted this letter and said it's a letter that he wrote to President William Ruto to intervene in the matter to save Duta. And I want to read the said letter so that you will understand the point where we are coming from. Open letter to His Excellency President William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, State House, Nairobi. Now, urgent request for clemency and repatriation of uh, Margaret Nduta MACHARIA from Vietnam. Your Excellency, I write to you with deep concern regarding the case of Ms. Margaret Nduta MACHARIA, a 37-year-old Kenyan who has been sentenced to death in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, over drug trafficking charges. Now, the distressing development calls for urgent diplomatic intervention to safeguard our fundamental rights and explore the possibility of clemency and repatriation while acknowledging the sovereignty of the Vietnamese judicial system. It is imperative that the government of Kenya intervenes to ensure that Ms. Macharia's life is preserved and that she is given an opportunity to serve an appropriate sentence in her home country under Kenyan law. Your Excellency, I appeal for your urgent engagement with the government of Vietnam. Number one, plead for clemency on humanitarian grounds, seeking to have Ms. Macharia's death sentence commuted to life imprisonment or an alternative penalty. Number two, facilitate her repatriation to Kenya through diplomatic negotiations so that she can serve a sentence within our judicial system. Number three, engage the United Nations and international human rights bodies to support Kenya's plea for clemency and a fair treatment of its citizens facing harsh penalties. Kenya has on numerous occasions stood for justice and no human treatment of its citizens worldwide. It's my sincere hope that through your leadership, diplomatic resolution can be reached to save Ms. Macharia's life and allow her to face justice in Kenya, in her home country. I heard the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to act swiftly in initiating discussions with their Vietnamese counterparts. While the Office of the President provides the necessary guidance on high-profile diplomatic negotiations to secure a favorable outcome, I have also copied this letter to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Office of the President and the United Nations Mission in Kenya requesting their immediate attention to this matter. I trust in your commitment to the protection of all Kenyans regardless of their circumstances, and I remain available for any further engagement on this matter. Yours faithfully, Honorable Richard Onyonka, Senator Kisii County, Cabinet Secretary of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service, Office of the President, United Nations Resident Coordinator, Honorable Richard Onyonka. Now, one thing, I have always told you can't depend on Musalia Mudavadi. You can't write to Musalia Mudavadi to negotiate in saving a life. Musalia Mudavadi can't save even his own life. Musalia akishiba amelala, anashibanga analala, ananga shida na mtu. Ya akishiba analala. So mnampatia a matter that needs urgency for him to intervene. Look for somebody else, not Musalia Mudavadi. But do you think in any way Nduta will be saved from the lethal injection that she is supposed to face in Vietnam? Mpira ni kwako. Achia maoni kwenye comment section.